one of the things that 1.5 generations and the second generation sort of struggle with the issues is identity. We are a very new immigrant group in this country, and one of the very important, crucial aspect in our community building is our identity. We have to create an identity that we can be recognized and empowered with the identity. And part of the identity creation is creating image that reflects us, who we are, versus images created by other people. And so far, Vietnamese history or Vietnamese American history have been portrayed through American military, soldiers, GIs, mostly American artists. So as a Vietnamese American filmmaker, as a Vietnamese American artist, I feel a need to create a voice, an image that reflects more of what we feel inside. One of the themes that I find, and I got some quotes from other writers, is that writers of Vietnamese descent left Vietnam as older children or young adolescents begin to receive tensions. And that theme often speaking about bridge and culture between Vietnamese and American. And most of these themes come through as a bridge between two cultures, living in two worlds with two separate language, rules, and culture. And the quote that is so true to most of these artists that Google of between. And a Google between is sort of like a very common theme, and I found that it's a very theme that I myself identify with, because I speak English, I think English, but I still retain my Vietnamese identity through some needs, and that becomes a very crucial theme for the generation, 1.5 generation, and second generation of Vietnamese, because of course we live in this society, and we kind of have a lot of issue dealing with two separate set values that somehow we kind of have to come up with some sort of a solution to ease this kind of conflict. So I felt like as the role of a professional filmmaker, we need to address these issues, because by addressing these issues, we can identify with our concerns and things that we, that it's something that reflects who we are. And I identify a lot with that. So one of the reasons I chose to do this film is to bridge that gap of not being able to speak out, and be able to speak out in a way that that make people understand how how conditions, our feeling, and who we are, our characteristics. And like Lisa was mentioning, I think Bruce quote earlier, was so far Vietnamese American or Vietnamese images on the mainstream media, mainly in the background. You only see the real characteristic of Vietnamese being characterized truly on mainstream media. And I think one of the reasons is this lack of media that made by Vietnamese Americans, and it's a very difficult medium to get in, but also it's very powerful in a way, because medium allow people to identify with very close, close-knit associations. And I think the important thing about creating images is that once you create a personal story, when you make it personal, people will associate with it, your personal story more closely. And with this medium, it's something that you can't really do with a lot of other medium. because it's multi-level. It's, you know, you have the sound, you have the sight, and you have music, and you have there's different levels there that kind of bring that universal humanity, and that's I think that's a very important thing in create work, because it not only reach within our community, but it reach the greater community, which is a multicultural world that we live in. And I also, on the local perspective, I think just projecting our voice is a civic duty as a professional, as a Vietnamese professional. Just you know, just speak about our issues, our history. You know, the thing that goes on in our head is a very important duty, because it allows other people to identify it with it, and also it provides a cultural context that defines who we are. And these are things that are very valuable for future education, because there's a lack of material that used in schools for Asian American history, you know, much less Vietnamese American history. And for example, Mr. Michael Masuda, who's one of the speakers that will speak, I believe, tomorrow over here, he emphasized on incorporating Vietnamese American history into the curriculum in schools. And I think that's a very, very important task to do in order to educate the future generations and strengthen the community, because we need to bring that into the educational system and increase more the visibility of Vietnamese American through media and all that. And but there's an obstacle, and there's some obstacle ahead. One of it is limited amount of materials, limited knowledge about you know, story and different teaching material. There's a lack of that, and there's a lack of participations from you know, general community members too. And Mr. Michael Masuda has also mentioned it is you know, to involve the community. One of the tasks we really want to do with this project is to involve community leaders and parents in getting their voices, you know, become active in civil actions, you know, try to incorporate some of these, or get our demand heard and our voice heard about, you know, our history and the things that are really important to us. So that's all I have to talk about. Jose, if you want to open up for questions.
Documentation life, experience in life. And one of the things that I'm facing right now is the transaction edit film, which that takes about 3 hours, which but all these edits because you have questions to do. So what would you suggest for me to do to make both, what's the simple suggestions that I should do to, I guess, work on this project?
If I understand your question, is you having a problem dealing with editing?
Yeah, it's not those types of good.
Oh, yeah, no time to do that. Get someone else to do it. That's a good, you know, good choice. No, you know, like my first film, I did everything myself. Of course, we never have enough time to do anything. But if you're passionate enough about it, you get it done. You know, you either. I mean, one of the things that a lot of people say is a filmmaker has to know how to beg, borrow, and steal. So, especially when you're independent filmmakers like me, I self-funded my project and everything. So, whatever you can get for free, do it. I mean, you know, it's just not. Don't be, you know, shy or be bashful about things, because if you don't ask, you don't get. So that's a key element.